Howdy everyone, the time is 6:10 p.m. and it is December 20th. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes Weather regarding, as you all know, the blizzard that is on the way for Thursday and for Friday and into Saturday as well. It's going to be a 3-day event. It's going to be quite significant snowfall. In fact, the National Weather Service has just started putting out their watches for the Great Lakes region. Some places in Indiana saw those yesterday, but now they have moved up into Michigan and places that will be affected by this blizzard, so we can provide some info as to what they're forecasting for potential snowfall accumulations. Make sure you're subscribed to stay updated. We are continuing to analyze the models as this storm comes to fruition over the next couple of days, and we will continue to provide live updates about the quality of roads and what it's like outdoors as we get to there as well. So we're going to get right into it right away, and let's wait for my screen to pop up here. If it will pop up. We got a little bit of an issue. Oh, I know why. Okay, we're going to go here. There. All right, now everyone can see it. Okay, so I want to get to, first of all, the watches and warnings that we currently have out for the Great Lakes region. So you can see the watches here that currently exist across much of Indiana, much of Ohio, as you can tell, as you can see it right here. Okay, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, all these places do have watches out. I'm going to focus first of all on northern Indiana, the places that really have the greatest potential of seeing some intense storms. This is the National Weather Service in northern Indiana's site. You can see there's a lot of different watches and warnings out there. Heavy freezing spray on the lakeshore. This is something that's not really talked about, but this heavy freezing spray watch is for freezing spray rates of 2 centimeters per hour of accumulation on boats and other things as well, even on piers and things like that. A lot of freezing spray is going to come as a result of the strong winds up to 55 to 60 miles an hour on the lakeshore, and that's going to cause a lot of accumulation on the different boats you have out there and the piers as well. So that's going to cause some impacts. I'm assuming no vessel is going to be out in the water during this particular event because it is going to be very rough seas out there with the 55-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then there's a winter storm watch also in effect as well. For blizzard conditions, they are saying blizzard conditions are expected. A wintry mix transitions to snow on Thursday night, okay? And the snow accumulations exceeding 8 inches are expected across pretty much Indiana and Michigan. And it looks like the maximum for this storm in particular is 17 inches of snow, according to what the models are saying and what the National Weather Service is saying, up to 17 inches by Friday night. And then that doesn't even include the lake effect snow that's going to be on the back side of this. So 8 to 17 inches of snow is looking like the probability according to the National Weather Service. Not only that, the 55-mile-per-hour wind gusts are going to cause significant blowing and drifting snow as well, and also the cold temperatures that are going to make things feel like 30 below zero, particularly in parts of northern Indiana and parts of southern Michigan. Right here is pretty much the main area that's going to see the biggest impacts from this particular event. All right, so we're going to go to this picture here. Again, the same similar watches that you have. Winter Storm Watch issued by the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Here is what it says once again. 8 to 17 inches possible through Friday. Okay, winds could gust as high as 55 miles per hour and will cause significant blowing and drifting snow. Additional heavy snows and high winds are expected into Saturday, with storm total snowfall possibly reaching 2 feet along and west of US 131. So anywhere west of US 131 could get about 2 feet of snow from this, with a lake effect snow that's going to also be contributed on the back side. Travel is going to be difficult. The drifting snow is basically going to make plows rendered not very useful in these particular events. So blizzard conditions are what are going to be expected. So definitely not a storm to mess around with. I'm not going to be out in the roads during this event. It's going to be very intense, a little too intense for me to be able to drive into it. So I'll just be hiking around and checking out different things going on around here. Here's what their winter precipitation guidance is on the possible snowfall that we could have. This is the probability of snow greater than 1 inch by the end of the day on Friday. So if you increase this just a little bit, it actually shows very good potential for greater than 8 inches of snow anywhere from a line portage westward. You could see 8 inches of snow, and still very likely even east of that, even as far east as Jackson, Michigan, and still good chances for this area of greater than a foot of snow if you put it to that setting. And then it even shows a slim chance for snow exceeding 18 inches in areas near Van Buren County. That includes South Haven, Hartford, Paw Paw, Decatur. Those different types of areas could likely see some very heavy snow, especially with the lake effect that is likely to occur. So that is what is currently being shown. And again, this is going to be widespread. It's going to even extend as far south as south of Indianapolis. This includes areas such as Bloomington, Seymour, and then still good chance for greater than at least an inch of snow across parts of these different counties here and different cities. So let's go to, if it's greater than 4 inches, still a decent chance. If you go north of, I guess, Indianapolis, a decent chance of greater than 4 inches of snow, enough to cause travel impacts, and that 55-mile-per-hour winds is really still going to have a profound impact just with a little bit of snow accumulating on the ground. So it's not going to be good driving down there either. Pretty much anywhere across the Great Lakes region is going to be bad for travel as the storm's going through. So if you have travel plans, get them done tomorrow, not Thursday. Well, Thursday unless it's in the afternoon. Not late Thursday and not Friday. Okay, Friday is definitely not going to be a driving day for this event, and not even Christmas Eve either. Christmas Eve, you're going to have that lake effect snow. Christmas Day will be slightly better, but still won't be great. And then we'll begin the cleanup process the day after Christmas. But let's get to the models. Take a look at that real quick. What's being shown. We're actually going to zoom in right away to what is being shown in the Midwest. So you can see this here. Let me go full screen on this. All right, so let's slide it up to the point where we get to see the storm beginning to form. Okay, you see that low pressure system, not really deepening yet, not really going under its cyclogenesis at the current moment in Illinois and Missouri. As you see this go forward, though, you're going to see it start to deepen a little bit. It's actually does not look like it's going to deepen as fast as it was shown previously on previous models, but it still does show the potential for 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts based on what the models are saying. You do have that dendritic growth zone that is encompassing 7,000 feet in the atmosphere, which means snow formation can occur anywhere between 4,000 feet and 11,000 feet, which is going to bring a heavy snow band into parts of the Great Lakes region, especially areas that are west of the low pressure system where that rainfall is going to start to stop. But that rain is going to flash freeze on the back side of this because it's going to cool down very quickly. So that's going to cause travel impacts at the surface. And then as we get into nightfall, it's going to be cold enough to where ice will really not work as well or not even work at all. And that's going to cause slick roads and as well. So this low pressure system gets really deep, kind of stagnates over Lake Huron and kind of settles there, leaving us with lake effect snow, heavy snow, and wind on the backside of this that could reach up to 55 miles per hour. Snow continues Christmas Eve, lake effect snow in particular going to continue, and then it'll finally begin to dissipate once that high pressure finally begins to settle into the area by Christmas morning. So it's really going to be a storm up until Christmas morning, then it'll begin to finally kind of leave us alone. And a ridge is expected to build in with warmer temperatures by December 28th. So if you want opportunities to enjoy the snow, enjoy it after Christmas for at least the next 2 days, because after that, it's probably going to start to melt away pretty good. So that is what is currently forecasted by the GFS model. Let's take a look at snow accumulations real quick. In fact, let's pause it at the end of this particular snow event. We're going to go to not hour 114, but hour 117. And we will take a look at what the total snowfall looks like based on a 10-to-1 ratio. So far, it looks like 11 to 14 inches according to what the models are starting to show. And the models have been very consistent placing it over the lower peninsula and upper peninsula of Michigan. So this is a fairly better assessment than previous models had before. But you do have 12 to 14 inches potentially. I want to take a look at the Kuchera ratio. The Kuchera ratio is a ratio that we can use to see what the potential for snow accumulations based on 1 inch of rain could be. So this operates on a 22 to 1 ratio right now, so that means 1 inch of rain is comparable to 22 inches of snow, and that has a lot to do with how the dryness in the air is due to the colder weather. But 1 inch of rain is comparable to 22 inches of snow here. So if we look at the snow accumulations based on the Kuchera ratio, they do get quite a bit higher, a little bit up to the extremer levels across parts of western Michigan. Again, GFS kind of overestimates snow totals quite a bit often, so that's just something to take note of. The Kuchera ratio does change things a little bit with regards to the snow forecast. Let's backtrack to when the event's actually occurring. Probably Friday afternoon, Friday evening, you can see the snow totals are going down. I want to show you the wind because the wind's going to be a concern for tree damage and power outages, especially with icing. You do have wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles per hour across pretty much most of southern lower Michigan, and then the Great Lakes region is also going to have not temperatures, but wind speeds, wind gusts of up to 40 miles an hour. That's going to cause damage to trees and power outages, especially with that ice that is expected to freeze quickly as the temperatures cool down over the course of a couple hours as that cold front moves through. So very strong winds will contribute to the impacts of this storm. Once again, I've kind of gone over this once before, but this is the storm that is probably going to be remembered for at least another 10 years. So it's a pretty memorable storm. You're going to want to be well aware of what is coming with this particular snowfall that is going to be moving through the area. So let's go to the Euro model now, and let's have a look at what exactly that is projecting for this particular event. Similarly, it is very similar, so it's not really too much of a difference. Models have really come together on this particular event here, but let's take a look at it anyway. You see that snow beginning to develop, and then that low pressure system. And the low pressure system on this model is actually placed a little bit farther to the east, which means it'll likely bring a bit more snow than rain to Michigan. Now, Indiana and Ohio will likely still see that rain with the snow squall on the backside, but the Euro model is also projecting that low will kind of slow down and wrap over parts of Lake Huron once again, and then you have that lake effect snow on the backside with those strong winds, and then it begins to dissipate by December 26th. So let's pause it at December 26th and take a look at what the Euro is saying for snow totals. It's a little bit different. So we're going to go to the 10-to-1 ratio once again. Similar, but not exactly the same. It still shows about a foot, maybe even more if you get closer to the lakeshore. And then you go up to the Kuchera ratio. The Kuchera ratio does show that potential for 2 feet of snow that the National Weather Service actually pointed out in their winter storm watch that they published recently. So similar setup to the GFS as well. And you also can get a look at the NAM model. Again, this is actually not far enough out, but the NAM model is also putting out some snowfall totals by Christmas Eve, or by the 7 p.m. December 23rd of pretty decent amount. So NAM's not going to be helpful to us just yet. We still got to wait we still need more time for that to really confirm itself. But decent snow on the way, okay? A lot to be aware of with this particular event. The snow is going to be moving through very quickly. There are some things you really should keep in your car if you need to travel. If you must travel any day except for Friday. Friday is going to be by far the worst day of this storm, and it's going to be it could even give you a life-threatening situation if you're not careful. So you really should consider not driving on Friday. If you must, though, make sure, some simple safety tips, make sure that you have food in your car, water in your car, some of the essentials that you need. Keep a blanket, something to keep warm. And if you get stuck in a ditch or somewhere where you can't really get out, don't leave your vehicle, stay there, but do not constantly run your vehicle. If you constantly run your vehicle, then that is going to lead to some problems with carbon monoxide in your car. Could lead to carbon monoxide poisoning, and that will cause significant issues. Okay, so you're going to want to be aware of that. Do not run your vehicle constantly. Only run it in cases of heat, and then for the need for heat anyway. And then also make sure you keep your dome light on at night so that people can recognize there's someone in that car and needs help. Okay, that's really important. And also keep a window cracked open if you're running your cars to prevent carbon monoxide from just filling into your vehicle and just settling there. You got to let it air out. The key thing is avoiding carbon monoxide poisoning while also staying warm if you get stuck in a ditch. So keep that in mind. Those simple safety tips could potentially keep you out of harm's way if you happen to get stuck. So overall, quick update on the models. That's really all I wanted to show for those models today, and I will continue to keep you updated as things change, but that is currently what we're looking at. Again, National Weather Service is picking up on 8 to 17 inches of snow, maybe up to 2 feet closer to the lakeshore. Wind gusts of 55 to 60 miles an hour, causing significant travel impacts. Friday is a no travel day, very dangerous travel, so definitely do not travel on that day. All right, make sure to stay subscribed, keep updated with this particular event, very perhaps potentially historic event happening here in the Great Lakes region on Thursday and Friday, and I will keep you updated as much as I can. Just make sure you stay with us, and I will see you all at the next available opportunity.